We're about to overthink everything.
A lot of things are being swept under the rug. A lot of people are suffering silently.
I think we need to put more measures in place where there are repercussions for harassing people online.
The Overthinkers.
Touching on the fact that you have the page Face Depression, and I'm sure that it would have touched you deeply, the situation that happened about 2-3 weeks ago with a young lady that thought it fit to take her own life. May she rest in peace. That was shocking for a lot of us because she was young. How old was she? Like 15, 16? Still in secondary school. You know, these aren't things that we hear about very often at all. And I think that it raised the long overdue topic about depression and mental illness, and you know, the fact that a lot of things are being swept under the rug. A lot of people are suffering silently, and that's probably one of the reasons why I prompted to get you on the show this week, because I wanted to talk about that, you know. Society was really shaken up by it.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it because I was kind of off Facebook, because Facebook is just like stress. I do not like Facebook, so I was off, and then I came on and I just kept seeing these statuses. I'm like, what's going on? Someone said, you don't want to know. And then like literally 2 scrolls later I found out, and I was like, shh. It's kind of, I have a million feelings about it. So maybe the first feeling is for me to say that I totally understand why a 16-year-old would make that decision.
Yeah.
Because I know adults who contemplate that decision, and for whatever reason, a lot of the time is that they have children and they're like, I don't want to leave my child. Or it's that they've gone through some sort of therapy, and so they have a couple skills to know what's happening and to make it through to the next day. I don't think 16-year-olds are given any of those coping skills. And on top of that, teenagers are dealing with things that adults aren't dealing with. So whereas we used to get bullied, and by we, I really mean people older than me, used to get bullied and it would be at school, you come home, and that's the end of that. Now you get bullied at school, you come home, and then you open Facebook, you open Snapchat, you open Instagram,
Twitter,
and it's all there.
It's all over.
And you never come away from it. It's just there all the time. So I totally get the logic of a 16-year-old. And I totally get why, to some degree, it may have been inevitable, especially if she didn't feel like she could talk to a parent about it or anything like that. I get how the chemicals, whatever the case is, I get how it can be so overwhelming that that's the only thing you could do. So that's the first thing. So it's unfortunate, and I get it.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I think we need to put more measures in place where there are repercussions for harassing people online. The U.S. is pretty good at it, but Barbados needs to step up, because it's not as though the internet only exists in America. It's in Barbados as well, and so the same procedures, the same protocols need to be in place. And I guess what I'm not understanding, I didn't read the whole story because I didn't want to delve into it, because like it's troubling.
Yeah.
But how I feel like there should have been steps before she even got that bad.
Yeah.
Like how is it that, like, maybe because it's normalized, so your friends feel like, well, people get teased, whatever. Maybe they don't stand up for you. I don't know. I don't get it.
Right.
So that's step 1. Step 2 is like, did her teachers not notice again?
Changes.
I didn't read the story.
Yeah.
But did her teachers not notice any changes? I feel like a lot of the time, and I've seen this manifest itself in different ways with different kinds of children, but adults tend to dismiss children in a way that
speak when spoken to.
It's just unacceptable. We don't treat them like human.
Yeah.
They're just little things until they
Subordinates.
get to a certain age.
Subordinates
and then
is right.
suddenly they're supposed to be adults.
Yeah.
So we never treat them like humans, and then 18, okay, you're adult now. So you're hard-airs, you're rude, you're unmannerly, you're forced right. All these things that we label children.
You're lazy.
Children. And we just throw that at them without trying to understand them. And so even if she wanted to go to a teacher, would a teacher just say, I don't feel confident that a teacher would have
Received her in the correct way.
exactly. And then, or you tell your mother, but your mother busy. You don't want to confuse your mother. You know, she got bills to pay. You don't want to stress her.
One thing about depression I can say for sure is that you don't ever want to feel like a burden.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about people who are suffering with depression, and is that you feel that you're a burden on your loved
society,
ones,
yeah, to everyone, to
your
everything,
friends, to society on a whole.
And ironically, people say that it's selfish, but I think the thought process is the world will be better if I wasn't here.
Correct. The
Yes.
world would be
Yes.
better
Let
without
me
me.
do them the service and just peace out.
That's exactly what it is. It doesn't come from a selfish place at all. And that in itself would explain to people that don't understand it why you don't always get a person coming out and readily sharing these things.
It's so hard.
You have people
really,
saying,
really hard.
we never knew, she never told us anything or whatever. It's because we don't ever want to feel like a burden. So it's something that you really have to show love and observe the people that are around you. Observe them, and know them.
I'm curious to know how much, because I was also doing something with I also kind of do youth mentorship,
Right.
kinda. And I was doing something with Rotary, and they were doing this thing about anti-cyber bullying, and so I had to go into some schools and talk to the young people and so on. And I'm not sure that, actually I know that the teachers aren't very well trained on any of the new stuff that is happening. So teachers can tell you 1 + 1 = 2, but then all the other stuff that comes with being a teacher and taking care of young lives
human.
and I don't feel confident that they have enough training in that aspect. So people like teachers, people like police officers, even nurses and so on. I feel like we need to just train these people a bit better to know how to deal with people with mental health challenges. Because I think if you are a first responder, i.e. a police officer, a nurse, or if you are that first
Contact,
you need to know how to deal with these things and know what you're seeing and know to not call it somebody being hard-ears or being rude if somebody's acting up. Don't just dismiss it. Yeah. Don't just dismiss it as this child, because children are not inherently bad. I don't believe that at least. And so
it's a this we can go on a lot. We can go on a lot on this topic. Just wanted to let the listeners know that you can check out the Face Depression page on Facebook. Tell us a little bit more about why you thought to create a page like that and call it Face Depression.
So there'll be fewer people like that young lady.
Yeah.
So I was diagnosed as having bipolar disorder, and in 2013 I hit a real rock bottom. I was in a hospital, and being in the hospital and having other people come in and out the ward, and realizing that this is older men, middle-aged men, older women, teenage people, men, teenage boys, teenage girls. It was just anybody. And I think someone maybe would think that, okay, maybe there's a female issue, maybe just women, women emotional, maybe it's just women, or maybe it's just poor people, maybe and I realized no, it's just people, it's just anybody,
people.
really.
Anybody.
And it really hit me hard, because there were these two guys in their 30s going on to their 40s, and I would watch these men bawling, and I think that really impacted me, just the scope of the issue and the fact that it was people you would never guess, and the amount of pain that they were really going through. So coming out of that experience, I just wanted to create something where people felt it's not just me. So that was the one thing. It's not just me. And also, if they could equip themselves with certain things, then maybe it would be a bit more manageable. Because I feel like depression, if it's one of those things, I don't think it ever goes away, but it's something that you can learn to manage, like, throughout your lifetime. You can get better at managing it. Yeah. And I think everybody deserves a shot to self-actualize. Yeah. And it's damn near impossible to really go after the things that you're good at if you're crippled by that depression. So
I feel you,
I just see it as a service to, like, make everybody, like, be super awesome.
Well, I can give you my story on this because so I suffer from depression as well, right? And around the same time that you started the page, I literally was rock bottom too, right? I was close to being hospitalized, that kind of thing. And along comes this page saying, face depression, right? And I was never a person to share, and it was very hard for me to talk to my family and stuff about it because they never understood. They thought depression was, one day is wake up, you don't feel so hot, but you just get over that, right?
Sorry to laugh.
Not to make fun of it, right?
But that's exactly what they think about it.
Right? People don't understand that it's something that it literally cripples your life and your existence, and you can't function. And the thoughts that come into your head, as we said earlier, it may be better if I wasn't here. Then I won't have to worry about, my mother seeing me and being sad because I can't go to bed for 2 weeks. Right. You know what I mean? So, so when I saw your page, when I saw the face depression, I was like, okay, let me see what's going on here. And then there were some inspirational comments. It was very honest. And then people started to talk very openly about depression on the page, and people share their experiences. And, it made me feel confident enough to say that I can actually talk to people about it. And through the help of that page, partly that I actually sat down with my mother and my brother, my family, and I showed them a video and I taught them about it. And I was saying, look, this is not a 48-hour thing. This is something I deal with. I have dealt with since I was a teenager. And, I just wanted to say that was a very good thing to do because a lot of people just figure, what's wrong with me, I'm weird, or what's wrong with you, but you can't articulate that to somebody else. Or maybe you can, but they don't want to hear it. Like, for me, sometimes I would talk to my friends and say, all right, let me just confide in one of my male friends and say I'm depressed. And be like, you just want a drink and some sex. You know what I mean? And it goes deeper than that. So I just wanted to tell you that that was an amazing thing.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, I think you have
that will keep you going.
I think you've got a lot of people that will have that sentiment that might probably not come out, and you wouldn't hear it. But for me, I have the same feeling about it. We were talking before the cameras came on, and I was mentioning to Adaeze that when you are pulling from the depths of your soul to make sure you can follow on a day, like finish a day. People who don't understand depression or suffer with depression would think that you're faking all the other depressed times. It's like, I see you on the Instagram doing the videos, the comedy. You look very good to me. You look very pretty and everything. Nothing wrong with you. And they have no clue. Like, you literally dragged yourself out of the depths of nothing to, come out and make it. So I suffer with depression too. So we're a bunch of depressors. Yay! Yay for depression! Woo! Yeah, so that's why I thought it was cool to touch on this topic with Adaeze here. Thank you so much for doing that page, because it feels good to not be alone. I think that is one of the most important things in dealing with this depression thing, realizing that there are other people out here that are dealing with it as well too. So
feel identical things sometimes.
Yeah, and I kind of like the nutritional tips as well, like the supplement facts and stuff. The certified natural professional means omegas are good for that, girl. Good.
But I have a question. Because I would like you to talk. Now that we have this platform, you're here. Just let people know, what would they do if they're depressed, or people, not necessarily people that are depressed, but people that are around people that are depressed, and maybe what would you tell them in terms of being there for their friend?
I can actually call Laura May again, because she is excellent, like really excellent.
We're dealing with you.
Dealing with me.
Right, so
I do not
she
know
would be the
how
best
she
person
does
to
it.
speak on this. Come here, Laura.
Have a seat.
Come here, Laura. Yeah, so Adaeze said that you'd be the best person to talk about this. How do people that have to support people with depression, how do they cope? What's a tip that you would have for them?
It's important to try to understand what is happening with the person, and it's very important not to judge what they're actually doing in their depressed state. Mm-hmm. So that's what keeps me sane. So if I were to take everything that she does or says seriously while she's depressed, then it chips away at my ability to be supportive. Mm-hmm. So you get to a point, and I think she's a very good depressed person.
Right.
Because she recognizes when it is time to follow. So So
she's checking herself too, yeah.
Yeah, she knows when it's time to follow. So, right. And I've learned over time that I should no longer be saying, do you want to have breakfast? Do you want something to eat? Because I recognize she really doesn't know what she wants, and she doesn't want anything. She wants to lay down.
Yeah.
She wants to lay down in the bed and stay there all day and starve. Mm-hmm. Because somehow the feeling of starvation feels like something. Mm-hmm. So I guess I could give you all some recent examples. So now I would go and make something, mm-hmm. or I would come and say, do you want eggs or peanut butter?
Right, so it's not an option.
Like, you got
about if she's eating or not.
And,
right.
If she might look at me like all side-eye, like
eggs.
No, she might not say anything, and I'm like, well, you would know that you cannot eat.
Yeah.
So you got to pick one. And I would do that. But then there are times when she might be really low, and what I recognize is that she needs to be in contact with life. So one thing that depressed people, supporters of depressed people should look out for, which I've learned from her, watch for people lying in the fetal position. She is not allowed to lie in the fetal position. If I come into that bedroom or on that couch or anywhere and her feet are curled up under her chest, I hold her 2 ankles and pull them straight. There's something about that.
This is so amazing.
There's something about that posture, I think, that helps you to sink and sink and sink. And I don't want her to sink. I want her to be aware that this is a standing world. This is a world where your leg's supposed to be under your hips. So I would pull her legs straight. And she's like, but I just want to sleep. Or I just want to lay like this. I'm like, well, no.
Lay like this.
Lay like this. If you want to lay, nobody is stopping you from laying, but lay like this with your legs more out. Or go outside, or we going outside to feed the dogs.
You know what? I'm just glad was making me happy hearing you talk. Is the fact that there's someone that is just putting in some effort.
She's putting bare effort.
It's how you are. And I feel that's what's been missing from a lot of people, from a lot of the youth. There's no one that really gives a shit about how they lie down, if they ate or not. And I think that in itself, just caring and understanding that any lash outs or anything that may come out of her, you don't take it personal, because that's the depression speaking, Right. Yeah,
so that's what I think about it. Yeah, it's not. I think of it as not being real. She's not really saying that or being that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it too.
So yeah, Face Depression, people, go and check it out and share it to any loved ones or friends that you may know may need support in that area. And even if you just want to get some more information about, depression, bipolar, mental issues and stuff like that, and look out for these signs, with your friends and your loved ones. Just be a little bit more sensitive to who may be going through something. And if you are going through something, reach out to someone and explain to them what's going on. There's a lot of information as well. So there are a lot of people that don't understand depression as well, what is going on with you, with your body, with your mind, because it's not just a mental thing.
And one thing that I used to do early on that I think will help a lot of people, if you can't elaborate what's going on, just go on Google.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Tons of articles, tons of videos, and say, look, read that. That's me.
There's no excuse now to not know. There's tons of information on Google and video, like you just said. And sometimes the people might just need a little sensitivity, a little education on the topic too. And, I really didn't know that that's exactly what you were going through, or, So, yeah, thank you for standing up and speaking up about it, especially in Barbados. Is not enough people doing it,
The Overthinkers.